Evil. Outbreak.
4 days left until Resident Evil Requiem. It's heating up. And don't forget one thing. I believe either tomorrow or the day after tomorrow is gonna be the review embargo, which I'm probably certain there are gonna be many people who is posting their reviews, mostly video game journalists. What I want to know is performance. This leaks, folks. I think, how am I supposed to say this? It's heating up because usually if you know that if a leak is true, companies try to either, one, false copyright strike a creator, and two, threaten them with what? Cease and desist, which we all know most of the time, it's empty threats. You know what? Let me show you. This is a video from Hypnotic. And for me at least, I'm gonna be playing it, okay? Remember, Resident Evil games will always sells well, okay? Let's be clear on that. Although the story is gonna be another matter, okay?
Guys, it is time to talk about Resident Evil 9 Requiem. And the reason why Requiem is in the news today is because if you guys are unaware, there has been massive leaks that have come out regarding Resident Evil Requiem, and the entire story has been leaked online for the most part, including pretty much all the endings or maybe most of the endings. I'm not exactly sure.
Actually, I think I've seen the ending. Sorry, we're skipping this. Sorry, I'm skipping this because usually that thing could be copyrighted. I don't want to risk it. So basically, folks, if I had to make a guess, listen, I'm still seeing the leaks, okay? And the problem is that most of those leaks come from a Chinese website, okay? I'm not joking. There's this website that is called Bilibili, I believe it's called. That thing is a Chinese website. Any leaks will come from there, since we all know China and Japan, what's the word I'm looking for? Let's just say that tension isn't exactly mid or something.
And it is not good. What I will say about this story is that I made a prediction regarding Resident Evil 9, and I will say that I have been vindicated on that prediction, and I will talk about that when the game actually releases. And I feel like a lot of people also would be vindicated because we all kind of saw this coming as to what's going to happen in Resident Evil. But the reason why we're talking about this is because Capcom has decided to pull a Nintendo. Better yet, they decided to pull a Square Enix because Square Enix did the same exact thing with Dragon Quest, right? Before Dragon Quest came out, they said that if you were to showcase the ending of Dragon Quest Remake, that they would send you a cease and desist letter. They would take down your YouTube video. They will legally go after you if you were to spoil the ending of the game within the first 48 hours or 72 hours of the game releasing. It's the most insane thing ever. Obviously, it was just empty threats. They never did anything, but still.
Yeah.
Now, apparently, they're doing it with Resident Evil Requiem and Capcom.
That is
so
not
Capcom
a way
shared
to
a
do
statement
it.
about the Resident Evil Requiem leaks. And to quote this particular article from The Gamer, it says they will take firm action against those with illegally obtained copies. So what ended up happening was people got their hands on Resident Evil Requiem early. A lot of people got their hands on copies early because they either know somebody or whatever the case would be. This happens all the time, by the way.
And also, I don't know if Capcom is aware that most of the leaks come from a Chinese website. I don't know if Capcom is aware that, look, okay, yes, Capcom does have Western divisions, okay? But their center of it is Japan, okay? And Japan and China isn't seeing eye to eye, okay? Just recently. It's related, okay? I'm not joking. Look, if you don't remember, I think I checked Resident Evil 2 Remake was unavailable in China, if my memory serves me correctly.
And apparently they're not happy about that. So what I want to do is I want to go over what they said, number one. And number two, I want to go over my thoughts about this and how overall, I think people are forgetting that Resident Evil, in terms of a lore perspective, because a lot of people are angry at the leaks from a story perspective, and I don't blame them, but the story has been pretty fucking convoluted and overall just not that great ever since the end of around like Resident Evil 4 and 5.
It's like
it's
a rabbit
just been
hole.
absolutely insane. It's been off the deep end. And they keep retconning stuff. They keep changing things. And they really don't know exactly how they want to go about this. But I got to tell you, man, the leaks are really bad. If you want to go find the leaks, you can find it on your own accord. But we're not going to talk about that specifically in this video. So anyway, physical copies of Resident Evil Requiem have been out in the wild since over a week ahead of launch. And already some major spoilers are flooding the internet as a result. In a new statement shared to X, Capcom addressed the situation directly, explaining that these copies appear to have been obtained through illegal means and that it will take firm action against those who post
like to see how
footage.
That works.
Now, obviously here, They're specifically talking about the people who actually got the illegal copies. They're not necessarily taking legal action against anybody who discusses the leaks, but what they will do is they will strike you down. Okay, they will absolutely strike you down. They'll strike down your YouTube video. They'll strike down your Twitter post. They're striking down so much content right now. It's actually insane. Currently, we have found a large number of gameplay videos of Resident Evil Requiem that appear to have been obtained through illegal means. So all this does is confirm, by the way, that the leaks are true. So if you go out there and you find the leaks, just realize that they are absolutely true because they are trying to take this all down. The statement reads as translated by DeepL, for the sake of our customers who are eagerly awaiting this game, we ask that you refrain from publishing or posting gameplay videos on video streaming services or social media before the game's release date.
Or the review
we will take
embargo.
Firm actions such as deleting videos or issuing warnings as soon as we become aware of such activity. Posting gameplay videos prior to the release of this game is not only a copyright infringement, but also an act that offends other customers. So we will take that firm action and we will delete videos or issue warnings as soon as we become aware of the activity. Additionally, we ask that anyone viewing this post who happens to see the video in question, please be careful not to watch it or share it.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. Okay, first off, let's be clear, folks. Look, whether these developers and companies want to admit it or not, it's gonna happen either way, okay? I mean, look at Ubisoft. How many people, or in this case, how many content got leaked? Better yet, The Last of Us. Do you remember what happened to that game? When it was leaked, many PlayStation fanboys, they were coping, which I'm probably certain Hypnotic is gonna mention this. They were coping, and many people keep telling Naughty Dog, this is not it. You wanna know what Naughty Dog did? They false copyright strike people. Ryan Kino got 2 strikes, and that's when you know the leaks are true. But sadly, The Last of Us, well, compared to Resident Evil here, is that The Last of Us is a case where too little, too late, okay? Many people have been warning consumers that this is a bait and switch, okay? Obviously, you can't save everyone, but there are some people who were too late to see that a game such as either The Last of Us Part 2 or Code Violet was, what, a bait and switch. Look, remember, why do you think The Last of Us was put on PS5 or PS4 at least, on console? Listen, this is why many companies such as either Team Kill Media or Naughty Dog, they will always focus on console first because they don't want to deal with the Steam, or in this case with the PC community, because they knew Steam has a review system and Steam has an active player count on SteamDB, and they knew people will start comparing. And no. Before you say Steam numbers don't matter, listen, this is from a YouTuber called Chaos, okay? He says, if Call of Duty isn't performing well on Steam, then you can bet other platform isn't performing well, okay?
So they're clearly not happy about this whatsoever. This game has about 7 days before it's about to come out.
4 days left.
And obviously they want to keep everything under wraps and for multiple reasons. But I think that one of the reasons why they want to keep things under wraps is because they know that the decisions they made with the story are going to piss off a lot of people. If you are a super fan of Resident Evil in any way whatsoever, I would almost guarantee that you're going to be pissed by the absolute buttfuck retcon ass pull story elements that are in this game. I already read the spoilers, okay? Because reading spoilers for me doesn't ruin playing the experience, okay?
Yeah,
that's
me
just
too,
how I
mate.
am. You know, especially with games that I'm not like super invested in, it's fun.
I've already read the spoilers. I've seen it in Dr. Disaster's video. Well, let's just say, how am I supposed to say this? It didn't ruin it, but it made me wonder how deep of a rabbit hole I'm going in. No, generally, sometimes when you know you played something, let's just say you play Resident Evil, you play everything, you feel like, why is the rabbit hole in this franchise, or in this case, in this game series, is deeper? No, think about that.
If I'm invested in the game, I don't want to know anything. I avoid everything I possibly can. But it's a game. If it's a game that I'm not super invested in, I don't really care. And honestly, my curiosity got the best of me because I predicted something was going to happen. So I kind of wanted to see if I was right, and I was right. So that, anyway, that's besides the point. So though this game, we hope to deliver a story that intertwines mystery and tension and a thrilling gaming experience that challenges unknown threats. The statement concludes, we will appreciate your cooperation in not ruining that excitement for others. Thank you for your understanding. Okay, so now that we know all of that, let's talk about this particular situation. So I ended up quote tweeting this over on Twitter, and I said the following. I said, Please don't look at Resident Evil leaks online prior to the release. So when we surprise you with this absolute buttfuck of a story, we can at least keep your money before you find out. Makes sense, right? Now, for me personally, I feel like this is exactly what the strategy is. This is a strategy for a lot of companies. Whenever spoilers like this come out, this is absolutely going to hurt sales. But this game is going to sell gangbusters no matter what, because Capcom games just always do. Right? Capcom games always just do gangbusters numbers for the most part, especially Resident Evil. Resident Evil is going to sell an ungodly amount of copies no matter what. People are still going to play the game because they're Resident Evil fans no matter what. That's not going to change, right? But what this will do is that this will either validate what a lot of people have been saying about this game prior to the release, or it's going to piss off fans to the point where maybe instead of buying the game at full price, they might wait for a Capcom sale. They might wait till the game is, 70% off, and then they'll buy the game, right? So that's basically what's going on. And I really think that this is part of it. But obviously, they're going to do everything they can to protect the game from being spoiled, right? So in any case, Resident Evil, overall, it's going to end up in a situation where they got 7 days before the game comes out, and people have to choose whether or not they're going to want to be spoiled or not. And I think a lot of people are choosing to be spoiled, ironically, because I'm seeing so much discussion about this. So many people are talking about the endings. There's 2 endings right now, and both of them are pretty stupid. Not only that, there is a certain there's a weird how let me see. There's a weird retcon. I don't even know if you want to call it a retcon. It's not even a retcon. I'll say this. There is a weird decision in the game that it doesn't make any sense for the entirety of the Resident Evil franchise.
Okay.
They made a decision in this game, according to the leaks, that will change the foundation of everything you've ever known about Resident Evil all the way since the beginning.
Interesting.
That's how big of a spoiler we're talking about right now. We're talking about a fundamental fucking change all the way to the beginning of the game, and it makes all the other main characters of the game look incompetent. It even makes the villains of the game look incompetent. It's just like, why did you do that? Right? Why did you decide to go with that? So all I got to say is if these leaks are true, which it looks like they are because they're fighting hard against them.
It could be.
If these leaks are true, this is going to change everything with Resident Evil. And I think that the reason why they did this is because they want to continue making Resident Evil games with characters that everybody loves. They don't want to start fresh. They don't want to start new because they're worried that without the clout of older characters, that they're not going to be able to get very far. So I think that they did this ass pull. They did this ass pull to try to allow them to continue to make games after this. At least that's how I see it anyway. But anyway.
Okay, sorry if I had to make it way longer, but you guys had to see the full context of it. Well, not all of it, okay? You can visit it in the description. So here's the thing. First, let's be clear. Resident Evil, they will always sell as well, okay? Story's perspective, that's another thing. And I don't know, folks. I saw the leaks, and frankly, every time I look at it, I wonder myself, okay, how big, or in this case, how deep of a rabbit hole I'm in? Look, I'm still working on Resident Evil 2 Claire A, okay? Not the remake, okay? The original. I just finished Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. I just finished Resident Evil 2 Leon A. Resident Evil Outbreak File 1 and 2. That's a lot I finished. Evidently, every time I think I've completed, in this case, if I feel like I understand the story, but I feel like there's something missing, okay? I feel like I'm going down a deeper and deeper rabbit hole. I don't know, folks. Evidently, when it comes to leaks, I did saw about good and bad ending, which, again, I'm always aiming for good ending, okay? Some people like to do good and bad ending, but for me, I prefer good ending, okay? I don't know, folks. I think many people, or in this case, many developers, they knew that these characters, such as Leon, Jill, Claire, they're always beloved, and they can't change it. That's the thing. They knew what happened when you change it. People will not come back. That's the thing. I mean, do you remember what happened with The Last of Us? Yeah, The Last of Us Part 2. Joel died, and everyone loves Joel, right? And when he dies at the start and replaced by somebody else, most fans are pissed off. Marvel's Spider-Man, Miles Morales replaced Peter Parker, which Peter Parker is the OG Spider-Man, regardless what people want to say. And when he is replaced, nearly everyone is pissed off. I'm not joking. Here's the thing. Capcom is afraid that if they change or start fresh, they are worried that many fans, many Resident Evil fans, won't like it. They knew that Leon, either Leon Kennedy, Sherry Birkins, or Claire Redfield, they're gonna be beloved. Everybody loves it. Everybody loves Jill Valentine, Ada Wong, Leon S. Kennedy, who else? Barry Burton. I can name everything, which I'm certain you guys love a specific Resident Evil characters. Say it in the comments. So evidently, folks, I'm gonna be buying this, although I'm not gonna be playing it on release. Maybe because I'm gonna wait until performance, okay? Remember, my main concern is performance issue, okay? Can my gaming laptop here, the one you're seeing here, run Resident Evil Requiem? That's the question. Yes, Resident Evil will sell well, but performance is another matter, okay? Regardless what game it is, okay? Performance will always be #1 important thing, okay? Because of this memory crisis, the RAM price increase.
As a newspaper reporter, I had been involved with bizarre cases before. But this time, I had to learn the hard way that my past experiences were useless. When a horror movie becomes reality, a person's sanity can disappear instantly. I was moving on pure survival instinct.